G'day YouTube, my name's Lance. Welcome to Bundy Bear's Shed. Well, the weather report. Look, 19 to 30 today and supposedly sunny, even though there still is a bit of cloud around. But last week in that rain event that come through, with the dribs and drabs that come through, we ended up with 70 millimetres all up. Now, one day we had about 42 millimetres, which the tanks up the front there, they're about 2/3 full now, and there's 3 tanks and they're all 2/3 full. Today I've got to get up and on the tank from the carport there's 3 pipes, and where I found that snake skin, and I've sort of got them just sitting on the screen on the tank, and I don't know what happens, but one of them seems to move off and shoot off. So there's a place where I can put a bracket and I can actually strap them in so they stay put, so we're not missing out on any water. So, know what I mean? So I'll try and make that today if I can. See what happens. But look, that was great. That took the pressure off. The paddock's looking nice and green now. Well, starting to green up at least, and yeah, it's just been what we needed. Yeah, so the big tank out the back of Bundy Bear's shed here that I was siphoning water out of in a mobile tank to take up the front, well, it's overflowing now. So, but yeah, it's taken the pressure off, and they're saying between 2 and 25 millimetres tomorrow, Tuesday, and just looking at Higgins storm chasing and an ABC landline with the weather report, they reckon towards the end of the week, so the end of this coming week, maybe 80 millimetres. So they often say 80 or 100 millimetres, and yeah, you get 20 or something. But look, we're just happy for what we get. But look, that has certainly helped. It's been a big help. I got the X-rays done on my knee, and then I went in. I got both knees done because I've got a permanently dicky one, and this other one's just fired right up. So anyway, I rang the doctors and I got all my blood tests done. I got all the I got my cholesterols and liver function and kidneys and just the works sort of thing, because I'm an old prick. And so I rang the doctor and I said, I rang the receptionist and I said, look, I got some X-rays done the week before, and I got my bloods done. Could I make an appointment to have a chat with the doctor? You know, make it a doctor's appointment, and we can have a chat about it. And she said, I'll just see if your paperwork's in yet. So she said, oh yes it is. Yeah, look, no need to come and see the doctor. She said, everything's fine. Your blood's really good, and the X-rays, they didn't find anything, so that's good. And I said, well, I don't know, this thing's still playing up like buggery. How about we make an appointment anyway? So, I had the appointment with the doctor, and we went through everything, and he said, yeah, you're in good nick really for an old bloke. And yeah, my cholesterol's 4.8, and yeah, all the liver function. He said, yeah, for a 63-year-old bloke, he said, you're doing really well. So he said, yeah, it's all down. There's no chance of diabetes, or my sugar's down. The whole thing. He says, yeah, no, it's just bloody good. And I said, well, let's have a talk about my knees. And I said to him at the time, with the blood and that, I said, well, I eat a reasonably high fat diet. I wear it around my middle. How come? Because I said, Judy's way skinnier than I am, and her cholesterol's 5 and a bit. 5.4 or... No, look, I'm not sure what it is, but it was high, and they told her to go and change her diet and do exercise and all that, or else go on statins, and she wasn't going on statins, so she's been going for walks every afternoon and things like that. So, and he said, yeah, he says, look, if your parents and your grandparents didn't have it, it's just in your genes. So he said, people get a bit lucky. Lifestyle choices certainly have something to do, but he said, if your genes are good and you haven't had heart disease in your family and you haven't had that, which we've had none of that, and yeah, it's just, he said, you're lucky. So now I'm teasing Jude. I said, geez, I've got bloody good genes. And she says, well, how come my cholesterol's up? And I said, oh, bad genes. Just bloody dud. But anyway, yeah, but so that's good. And I said to the doctor, well, on the report from the x-rays, it said medium, on the right-hand knee that's always been crook, medium thinning, and on the left-hand one that's playing up like buggery now, minimal wear. And so I said, well, what's going on? So apparently with your knees, you have that gap in your cartilage in between the femur and the bottom bits, whatever you call them. And you know, I'm not even sure that's the right names. And yeah, on the videos, on the x-rays, on my bad knee, on the inside there, it's about 3 millimetres, and then when it gets outside, it goes to about 8 millimetres, or a bit better, I suppose. And on the left-hand one that's playing up now, it's probably 6 millimetres, all 6 millimetres on the inside. And so there's no, it doesn't look like I've worn the cartilage down, and we haven't got bone on bone or anything like that. So I said, well, that's probably fair enough. What is it? Where's this pain coming from? And he says, well, it's got to be arthritis or a torn meniscus. And so I said, oh, okay, so we're back to the meniscus, and that's fine. And so I said, well, what do we do from here? Because I said, I'm still bloody having bugger of a time. And he said, stay off that bloody leg. give it a break. And he said, meniscus tears, if you stay off them 6 to 8 weeks, they can heal and the pain can go away. So I've been trying to do that. I've been reasonably successful. Well, to get to my office upstairs at work, I've got 16 stairs. So after I went to the doctor, I said to Jude, well, look, I've got my computer set up at home here. I bought my work laptop home off my desk, and I'm just working from home at the moment. So I can go in my little machine shop where I've got my desk. I can sit down there and do a day's work there, no worries. And that's what I've been doing. I've been scanning. Yeah, well, once I get the normal daily messages done and YouTube's done, and YouTube messages, all the social media rubbish, get all that done and get my work done. Well, then I've been swinging across to scanning documents and things like that for the Bundy Bear's Shed website. We're getting quite a lot done on it. It's not out there yet, but we are getting quite a lot done. I've done a fair bit of Fordson stuff. Manuals and bits and pieces I found on. I sort of, if I'm on a site and I see a file, I'll grab it and put it in my library. And I'm slowly, the way we look at it is if it's out on the web for free, if it's out on the Facebook page for free, something like that in the files section, well, you're allowed to take them, and you know, you're okay with all that. So so I've been getting quite a bit of that done. Yesterday, Sunday, was the first day I came up the shed here, and I just sort of fiddled around, and I've been I've got those little round stools with the wheels on them, so I sit down and I sort of scoot along here and scoot over there. But I mean, it works well. I went last week to pick up the Massey Ferguson 20, and I cleaned the bay. I sort of swept the bay out in front in the doorway there, so I could sort of do a walk around of it with it for you. And I did that yesterday afternoon. And the old dicky knee, look, it is slowly starting to feel better. So the old doctor, he gave me more painkillers. He gave me enough painkillers to get me way through Christmas now. And he said after Christmas, mid-January sometime, we'll have a look and see how it's going. And if it's still playing up, we'll go to the specialist. But he said when you get to the specialist will wait another 6 or 8 weeks and just do checks and all that sort of thing. So anyway, I'm hoping if I can sort of stay off them. And it's like Jude says, you're never off the bloody things, because I'm up the shed 7 days a week walking around, lifting parts and doing that. So I'm hoping with a bit of rest that this meniscus tear sort of repairs or whatever it does. So we'll see. So, but I did come up here and do a bit of sweeping, and it's been pretty good. Like yesterday, the knee felt better than it had in ages. So, but I'm still not lifting heavy diff centres. You know, the diff on the 65 and the final drives and all that. You know, roll and lugging parts around. I'm not doing any of that. The wheels that I started before it played up, they just got to have to wait. I am thinking of setting up a little stand out the back here that I can put like a wheel centre on, and I can just sit on a stool around it and try and clean it and things like that. But whether I do that or not, I don't know. I might get overruled by the upper middle management. So we'll see. But I went out west and I picked up the Massey Ferguson 20, like I said, and I took it for a lap around the paddock. I got it off the trailer, and because my knee was playing up, the farm I went to, the fella Ken, I asked him would he drive it onto the trailer and things like that. So it saved me hopping up and down, which he was happy to do. And so we got it up on the trailer, and I'm looking at the tractor thinking, that's a funny angle, that's not quite right. I said, you reckon there's water in the back of these wheels here? And he said, oh, I don't know. So we had a look, yep, full of water. So we were going to just turn it around and put the heavy weight on the drawbar. And he said, oh, look, we can just drop the water out of it. And I said, okay. So I just sat on the trailer and he let the water out. So that lightened it up a lot. You know, they're only 14 924s on the back, but that did lighten the tractor a lot. So we put her on the normal way and come home with it. My trailer hitch is playing up. There's a little adjusting screw that's playing up. So anyway, I've got to try and fix that. So yeah, I got the tractor home and I thought, okay, so I just had a rest for a bit and dropped the ramps and rolled him back down and hopped on and went for a lap around the paddock. And I come up from the house. I wanted it up at the house there so I could walk around and order filters and things like that. So I wasn't coming up the back all the time. So I put it up the front there and I thought, I'll take it for a lap up the back. Yeah, new toy, kid in the lolly shop. And I come up the back here and did a lap and went up the back and went round the paddock, and bugger me, it stopped. And I heard the throttle fluffer a bit and I thought, what's going on there? Next thing, brrr. And I thought, oh, you bloody thing. And I thought, what am I going to do now? So anyway, I had to walk across the paddock and get home. And what had happened is someone had turned the fuel tap off. And I'm trying to bleed fuel through and it's not happening. And I thought, I've just got to check, has it got fuel? Yeah, it's got fuel. I opened the tap and the tap 10 or 12 turns, and opened that up and bled it through, and it's been good ever since. Judy jumped on it yesterday and drove it from up the front to up the back, and she said, oh, it's a nice little tractor to drive, like a 148. And I said, well, the story is that I said the 148, the hydraulics don't work, and they'll lift, but they won't hold a load, and so it just needs looking at. But I said, you got your carry-all and all on it. So I said, this little tractor's got no hydraulics. The hydraulics will not work. I haven't worked out why yet. The power steering doesn't work. I said, I'm going to get this mechanically good, put your carry-all on this, and this is going to be Judy's tractor for a while, and that'll get the 148 in the shed, just so I'm not going to fully restore either of these tractors. They're just going to get the mechanical work done so they're working properly as they should. So I sort of enjoyed yesterday afternoon. I come up the back on my little wheelie stools, and I cleaned the floor so there's nothing on it, so I can just stay on the stool and scoot around left to right. And I've done tests on the power steering, and yeah, I've got a gauge in the power steering, and I've worked out what's going on there, which, look, there'll be a video on the tractor. I'm going to start a Massey Ferguson 20 playlist, and that's just anything I do on that we video will be done. Eventually it will get all painted up nice and it'll be a show tractor, but for the meantime we just want to tidy it up, get it serviced properly, get everything working properly, and that way whenever we do feel like painting it up, we can just strip the panels off, clean it, paint it, and get all that done. We're not doing a full rebuild, there's no need. The brakes work pretty well. But yeah, no power steering, no hydraulics. So the power steering pump, they're supposed to put out about 1,400 pounds per square inch, and I've got little cameras set up on it now. I've got one shining across the battery down into where the control valve is, and I've got another GoPro on the drag link looking at the gauge on the power steering pump. So I'm hoping this morning, once I've done the stew, to run through the diagnostics on the power steering. And I did find what was wrong with that. I found a few things. One, the pump is crook. But look, at 1,000 PSI, you should still have some steering. The power steering rams are leaking, which is not the problem. They need to be fixed, but it's not the problem. The left-hand kingpin, it's had a ring-in kingpin put on, and I'm buggering with it yesterday, and something wasn't adding up. You know, you're looking at something and you're trying to work what's going on, and well, where the kingpin goes onto the stub axle, the weld's broken. And you can move the wheel and the top arm doesn't move much. You know, it's only a couple of millimetres. So, but that's a ring-in kingpin anyway. So we're going to put a brand new kingpin there and the kingpin housing. And on the other side, and they did tell me the tractor had been sitting out in the weather for ages because, yeah, it just wasn't used anymore. So the right-hand kingpin, well, you are flat turning it. I've put the air jack under it, and you can, by hand down the bottom end, you can't move it. And where you go on the normal wheel and you can slop it around. The left hand front's got water in it, the right hand hasn't. How it works. So yeah, we've got a seized kingpin, and 1,000 pounds per square inch isn't enough to give you any power steering. So, so I've got to free all that up, few new parts, so we'll go with that. The hydraulics not working. They don't know why they're not working. I popped there was no oil on the dipstick in the back end, and so I pulled the right hand side cover off, the side plate, and the reason I pulled that off was I wanted to have a look in on some of those pumps where your lever is with the roller on it. There's a little rivet down there, and sometimes the lever will pop off that rivet and doesn't work the control valve. So I wanted to have a look at that. I also wanted to have a look at how much oil was in there. So now to work, if the control valve was working, all I really had to do was take off that little top plate where the standpipe goes. These don't have pressure control, so it's just a straight standpipe. And but I just wanted to see the level and make sure it had enough to give it a run and all that sort of thing. So it's got enough oil just to give it a run. The levers work, and I can have oil shooting up the pipe, up the standpipe. When I move the levers, you know, I can make it start and stop. So I'm pretty sure the lift cover has to come off that, and we'll have a look from there. It has got the plate on this that, I don't know if the 148's done it. I've never serviced the 148 completely. The hydraulic filter goes down, and there's a little plate underneath the tractor. You undo that to get your oil filter off your hydraulic pump. So yeah, I'll probably try and spend some time on that today, and I'm going to try and film the diagnosing of the power steering today. We haven't got the parts to fix it, but I can possibly pop the cylinders off and get them ready for putting the kits in. I've ordered the kits. I've ordered a pump too, and because pulling the filler out, the pump had oil in it, but there was just no steering at all. And so the pump is down on pressure. One thing in the book on the power steering, I'm using the 135148 book. It says 1,400 pounds per square inch, but it doesn't say flow at a certain pressure. So, and you can tell the pump's worn because when your tractor's at an idle, a little bit over an idle, and you turn the steering, instead of it coming right up onto the set relief pressure, it only goes to about 400 pound. So, it goes to about 500 or 600 maybe. But you rev it up and it comes up to 1,000, but it won't get to the 1,400. So the pump's obviously worn inside, because a good working pump at just over an idle, it should go straight up onto relief. You know, you should be able to hear it, but there's no relief. The valve on the column's adjusted out. It's not right either. You turn one way, you can pull it up onto relief when you got its arse revving out, and the other side's only 400. But when you get a screwdriver in and you force the valve further, you do get the same pressure. So that little turnbuckle's out of adjustment. So, pardon me. So, yeah, there'll be a bit of fiddling around with that today, hopefully, and I'll have the camera there. I've got 2 cameras set up, and this one will be the 3rd to try and film some of that, and we'll see how we go. I bought another tractor. Where I bought this one from, we're just sitting on the side of the trailer having a chat, and you know, they had another couple of 3-cylinder 35s there that are just real old dungers, and we're just talking about tractors and that, and I said, I was sort of looking for a super Dexta if I could find one, and he said, oh, are you interested in normal Dexta? And I said, oh, I don't know. Why is that? And he said, oh, we got one here for sale. So we went and had a look at it, and it was all covered in dust, and it was in behind all these fertiliser bags and things. So I said, oh, I suppose. And I had a look, and the panels are pretty good. There is a little bit of rust in one guard. And he said, it starts and runs and everything works all right, and what would it be worth? So I told him a figure that I thought. And he said, look, I'll get it out tomorrow and I'll pressure clean it all up, and we'll take some photos and I'll send them across to you, and we'll see from there. So he did that, and it tidied up very nicely. But on the fuel tank around the bottom, there's a heap of rivets there. So it looks like someone's made a new base for the fuel tank, and they've riveted and soldered this new base in. So it must have had the arse rotted out of the fuel tank at some stage. And I thought, oh, a bit sus about that. And where the gear sticks are, there's a little plate there with 2 gear sticks. There's a little bit of casting missing out of there, and the tyres aren't real good. And so we haggled on price a little bit. The price they wanted, I said, oh, not really. I didn't think it was worth that. So we went back and forth a few times, and we ended up coming up with a deal that we were both happy with, so I've bought it. So this week I'm hooking the trailer up again and heading west again. We're going to bring a little Fordson Dexta home, which is good. I've been wanting to bring a Dexta home into the shed for a while. It's another brand. It's like the David brand. It's another brand. Another brand to fiddle on when we get the chance to, just to do the odd jobs on. So look, we'll just see. It was one of those things that was there. The price was right, so I bought it. It starts and runs and all that, so we can use it around the property here. So yeah, so a new one, a different one, so a different colour. So that'll be all right too. But look, I've gone for a bit of a walk around yesterday afternoon of the Massey 20. I've got the linkage arms in the back. The linkage arms have hardly been used. One of the sway chains or check chains on the side is quite rusty because they were just sitting out down in another shed way down the back, and the chain was sitting in the dirt, so that rusted away. Well, not rusted away, it's just rusty. But yeah, all in all, yeah, it's not too bad. So I'll go handheld, and yeah, we'll show you. We'll go for a walk around the Massey Ferguson 20 anyway. But look, that'll do. Oh, I did go shopping. Well, I didn't go shopping. Judy went shopping. These Black Friday sales, I've got no idea what these Black Friday sales are all about. But Trade Tools give me, you know, you get your emails, you know, your sales, your specials and all that sort of thing. And these pots here, these are, they're the Renegade ones. And these pots here, these steel ones, like the ones I'm putting all my taps and dies in from Sparex, there's one with 16 pots in it. And they've actually got over centre catches on them like that, but then even if they come open, it won't open because you've got to push a little button there to open them. And that foam on the lid there's stuck there to hold the pots in place. And I've been looking for some more of these just to get a bit of organisation happening and try and tidy up the mess really. I've been going around the workshop as I've been seeing things. I've been popping it on the bench here, and look at the bloody shit there. Anyway, that's all right. And this one here, the bigger one, has 21 pots in it. So some of the little fellas, sometimes these little ones end up a bit useless, but they're good for throttle clips and things like that. So some of the parts I have in my deeper drawers there, I have been looking for plastic pots to use the drawers, but I think these will fit in the drawers. So I can actually pick this up and go and take it out on a job, so we'll see. But yeah, they had 2 of these for $59, and that's what, I think it's $46 or something like that discount on what they would be normally if you bought them separately. So yeah, Jude was going to town on Saturday, and I said, hey, here's some money. Can you go and grab half a dozen of them? So they only had 4 in stock. So the kit is a little one and a big one for $59. And so, yeah, I bought half a dozen of them. They only had 4 in stock. The other 2 are going to come over the next period of time. So they fit in these Renegade drawers. So that's the benefit of them for me, that I can open the drawers up, then open that up, and if I want to take the whole box out, I can pop it in the ute and go somewhere with it, or just take it wherever I need to work. Put it on the top of my mobile little tool trolley here, so just to see how it goes. So look, that's it for this week. Thanks for dropping by. Stay with us. There's a little video there of the walk around on the tractor, and yeah, look, before it gets too noisy in the day, I'll start filming the steering diagnosis, and yeah, we'll see how we go. So have a good week, everyone, and yeah, we'll catch you up next week, and we should have another tractor to look at. See yous. Okay, well, here's a little bit of a walk around of our little Massey Ferguson 20 we picked up through this last week. Now the 20 it's got an AD3152 engine. It's like a 135 basically. Yeah, the bones are basically the late 135. It has the straight axle. The bonnet you will see familiar from a 135. They have the Massey Ferguson 20 and a little emblem of some sort there. Actually looks like just a sticker. I don't know what those 2 holes will be for. Are they around the other side? Yep, they're there too, so I don't know. But it has power assisted steering that doesn't work. When I bought it, like the panels are nice and pretty good really. When I bought it, I've bought it with the hydraulics not working. They don't know why, haven't bothered looking into it. They didn't need them to work. The power steering, so these have power assisted steering. So you have a power steering pump down through there and a cylinder either side. They're not working, there's no power assist at all. I've checked the reservoir and it's full, so there's something wrong there. Yeah, the tyres, back rubber's good. There is a bit of rust in the guards down in between there. Around the back here, the linkage arms are off and it's had a drawbar, and all it ever did while they had it was tow fruit picking trailers, so that's why it's got no linkage arms on it. A little bit rough, but look, it's okay. The tyres are good. It's a downswept exhaust. The dash under the panel there is missing. They think they've seen that there somewhere. If they find it, they'll give us a yell. If not, we'll just get one. Yeah, steering wheel's a bit dicky. I've got a couple of gauges and all. It's a Bearco seat, and up here it's a Flatford roll frame. Now they were sold by Vapormatic in Australia back in the day, so that's been there for quite a long time. The dash isn't too bad for what you can see. Now with the pre-cleaner here, we'll pull that out. We'll put that down on the foot plate here, and I'll pull this plate off. Now down inside here, I'll try and, yeah, now this valve here, that's the power steering valve on these, and so it feels like it's travelling all the way, like they only move a little bit, and it's equally poor steering both left to right, so that's working. You can see the column on the dash there goes up and down, and that's what works this valve. But look, there's just no power steering at all, so I'll be keen to get that going, have a bit of a look and see. I've got an O-ring kit coming for this valve. I doubt it's the valve. I think it's probably the pump, something down in there. But this front axle, I'll come around so I've got the light behind me. Now, this is what a front axle should look like. So they've got like half a cover. The bearing's out in the open a little bit, and this side here's had something else put there. I just don't know what it's from. It's grey, but see and it may be off a 135, an early 135 with a solid axle or something. I don't know. So that's going to get fixed up, and the kingpin doesn't come out through the top there. So I do have new ram seal kits, power steering cylinder kits on order. The top there's okay. I am looking for, like, they had a bar going across here, and they had the normal Massey Ferguson triple triangle under there, but then they had the upside down industrial bucket with MF that bolted onto that. So if anyone sees one of them for sale, give me a yell, please. Yeah, the grill needs a bit of a replacement. It has a generator on it. Now, all their tractors have this shield. That was a workplace health and safety thing, and they have an alternator. And the alternator just makes sense on a picking tractor. They're not roaring along all day, they're starting, they're moving down a bit further, and they're stopping again. So an alternator just makes sense. That's quite a good bracket. All their tractors have those brackets, and when we get round to painting this tractor, which is, look, it's not on the cards to start with. On the cards to start with is to give this thing a service and just get it working. But I think I'll put that cover back on. Now, it should have a foot throttle on it, and the foot throttle here is missing. Now, inside there you can see where it's been broken off at some stage. So the pedal's been broken. So I'd say they've hit something with this and it snapped the pedal off and wrecked all the linkages and all that sort of thing. So I do have an aftermarket foot throttle assembly coming to try and put that all back to how it was. The brackets are still up in the dash there for it. The fuel lift pump's leaking on it, so we know about that. Both steering rams leak. It leaks from the valve, or it's leaking up here somewhere. It didn't have a gear stick boot on it, and they warned me. They said it's probably got water in the transmission because because they were tractors that weren't getting sold anymore, they didn't get the opportunity of having shed space, so they sat outside. There's no oil on the dipstick in the transmission. The duck's bum's been missing off the air cleaner here for a long time, and I've had these filters out to order new ones, and it's just filthy inside there. There should be a sealing rubber around there. It's not there. But yeah, first up, we're just going to, they were telling me, I said, you got the diff lock wide up there, and they said, yeah, that was because the backpackers would get out way up the paddock, and this is off a big farm. They'd get way up the paddock and they'd say, this tractor won't steer. I can't get it to turn around the corner. And they'd have the diff lock jammed in. So anyway, they wired the diff lock up there with a bit of farmer's friend to stop that. Doesn't matter where you have the gear, the linkage levers here. Put them in constant pump. There's no rattle from the pump at all. There's nothing. So I'm going to pull this top off first and just see if there's any oil coming up there or not. Now, another thing that's a bit of a warning sign is this stud here. Now, these two here, and there should be two there, they hold the lift cylinder in place under the cover. That's got a screw missing, a stud missing, so who knows what's going on there. We'll find out, no doubt. But on some of these pumps, in behind this side plate here, there was a, like they had the pump actuating lever had like a rivet on it, and they'd pop off there. So, I don't know, I'm going to pop that side cover and have a look. I'm not going to fill it up with nice clean oil just yet. I want to see how much is in there, and if the screen is covered in the pump, that's all I'm going to worry about until I change it. Yeah, lift pump's leaking, the power steering pump, I'm going to pop that apart or try and pressure test it, and if I can get any pressure. It just doesn't feel like there's anything at all. I've got a new water pump and hoses and the old downswept exhaust. But yeah, look, that's about it. It will have its own playlist, and it'll just have a playlist called Massey Ferguson 20, serial number such and such, and that's it. Oh, the serial number on the dash, I haven't been able to date this one yet, is MF20 809954. So I often look on tractor data, or we have a good website, Queensland Tractor Spares. So yeah, but I haven't got any information on this industrial 20. So that'd probably be a job for James. James is good at finding stuff like that. There you go. That's a Massey Ferguson 20.